it is. Excuse me, are you the Seeker of Fantasies?
Yes, I am. I am the wizard that crafts the best works every year.
I have traveled afar for a 2020 fantasy movie. Have you found one?
Actually, I have. I got this idea by combining two things that people like Marvel and Dungeons and Dragons.
Actually, that is kind of a good combination.
Onward is the first and so far the only animated movie of 2020 to get a theatrical release, while the others either had to be postponed because of the pandemic or decide to release it digitally instead of theaters. This is also Dan Scanlon's second Pixar film he created, with the other one being Monsters University. However, ever since the pandemic occurred, the theaters had no other choice but to close them down severely until everything calms down. So Onward had to be released digitally 2 weeks after its theatrical release and then later on Disney+. However, on the bright side, Onward did get a lot of appreciation it deserved. On the first week of its digital release, the movie became the 6th most watched movie on Amazon Prime and the 2nd most on iTunes, behind the Oscar-nominated picture 1917. Because of it, the movie got a cult following as an underrated Pixar movie.
Welcome to another episode of the Wonder Reviews. It's time to take a ride on our noble steed Guinevere. This is Onward.
Many years ago, all the fantasy creatures rely on magic, but as the years pass and with technology growing and easy to handle, there is very little magic nowadays. The film focused on an elf named Ian, played by your friendly neighborhood actor Tom Holland. On his 16th birthday, his mom shows him and his brother Barley, played by the king of soundtrack playlists Chris Pratt, a present from their dad before he died. Is a magic staff that has an actual spell that can bring him back to life for only 24 hours, but they only brought back the bottom half of him. And so the brothers are on a quest to find a Phoenix gem in order to finish the spell before time runs out. As a conceptual movie, it sounds pretty unique to have fantasy mixed with the modern world, particularly with the resistance in the story, having a dragon as a pet, unicorns as an infestation problem, and some characters like the Pixies forming a motorcycle gang. However, as neat and funny as it is, the actual world building is not as effective. The characters help build the world, it's just the place they live in could not embrace enough imagination. The town they live in is just an ordinary town with mushroom homes, highways, a school, and that's pretty much it. The only exception is the Manticore's Tavern, where it's a giant family restaurant inside a dark mansion. It is the only background that ups the ingenuity in this fancy suburban world. Thankfully, what really helps the movie is the relationship between the father and son, and even brotherhood. With the father-son aspect, it gives Ian a goal to finally see his dad, and the relationship between him and Barley connects perfectly to the main plot. Since they both share the same goal to see their dad, they had to cooperate as a team to achieve it, with Ian learning a new spell, and Barley laying low on taking some adventurous risk and staying out of trouble. But I have to admit, it's actually a bit bizarre that he has a board game that is historically accurate to their fantasy home. Is that kind of like having an existing candy village and they turn Candyland into a history book?
Hey, did you guys know that King Candy's castle was founded in 1496 and the Black Licorice War lasted until 5 years until the M&Ms and the Skittles form a treaty?
Speaking of the comedy, while it's not laugh out loud funny, but the jokes are pretty good. The jokes both verbally and visually do give out a few chuckles. When they add in some of the fantasy elements like magic spells and meeting some new characters, that's where things get interesting during the chase and action scenes, especially the third act. And although the world is not that huge, some of the backgrounds are still nice to look at, with some like Ravensport having that photorealism. And with a variety of fantasy characters like Cyclops, Pixies, Elves, Centaurs, and many others, they are creative, bring out some great character animation, and supply some funny jokes. Whenever there's a scene with a hat dad, they go all out to show how expressive he is, even if he's just a pair of legs, showing that he does have a personality, similar to the magic carpet from Aladdin or the ocean from Moana. With the rest of the characters, some do have some development as the movie progresses. Ian is the shy elf that is trying to gain some confidence and wants to see his dad since he never knew him. Barley is the courageous warrior that loves fantasy adventures with a passion, but he has the heart on helping Ian. Because of their brotherhood relationship, they bring a lot of heart to the movie due to their goal on finishing the spell. Laurel is the mother that is trying to find her boys to make sure they're safe, and Corey is the manticore that teams up with Laurel and wants to regain her adventure spirit. With the performances from Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Octavia Spencer, the acting is really amazing. The only character that doesn't stand out like the others is Colt Bronco. He could have been an interesting character being Laurel's boyfriend, with the boys dealing with him on possibly being the new dad, and he has to learn to get along with them. But sadly, the movie doesn't focus on him a lot as he should. Still an okay character, just not a lot of screen time.
So I wouldn't consider this movie as my all-time favorite Pixar movie. Like, it's not at the levels of the Toy Story movies, Finding Nemo, Inside Out, Up, and the rest. But I did consider it as a fun movie, similar to A Bug's Life, the Monsters Inc. movies, and Brave. It's one of those movies that it's so enjoyable, it's worth rewatching again. And that's the reason why this movie is so charming.
Onward is an enjoyable fetch quest fantasy movie. It's not extravagant, but it's still a good movie with a lot of heart, likable characters, nice voice acting, and some good animation and visuals. If you enjoy watching fantasy movies, or you're just looking for a simple family film, you will like this. It may be a bit dusty, but it's still an underrated gem. For me, I'm giving this movie a B. Oh yeah, there was another thing. There was a Simpsons short that appeared before the movie started, which was called Playdate with Destiny, a Maggie Simpson cartoon. And honestly, it was a nice and funny cartoon. And it's pretty neat that the Simpsons are starting to develop short animated films.
Well, if there's anything I learned from this movie is that magic comes from everywhere without casting a spell or making a wish. You just gotta see it in a unique point of view. I'm Matt Harry Patrick. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to fly around the world with a luck dragon.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe me for a new review and other project every week. I'll see you soon.